So my objective was to choose three cultures or co-cultures that had the biggest impact on the perceived and presenting selves of the characters within the relationship. So in this scenario, it's Brennan and Dale. And then why did it have such an impact on the people in the relationship? This is kind of wrong, but hello, my name is Dewey Schoenfelder. And I'll be discussing different cultures between Brennan and Dale and their parents, and both their parents, Nancy and Robert, that created and changed perceptions between them. The first culture I'm covering will be Dale's protection of his personal property. So in the movie Step Brothers, he labeled his food in the fridge, and Brennan ate it, and that caused a conflict. And then Dale explicitly told Brennan not to touch his drum set, and then Brennan touched his drum set. And then the next culture I'll be discussing is how Brennan and Dale bond near the end of the movie by having a performance together at the Catalina Wine Mixer, and this is probably one of the biggest and funniest moments in the movie. And then the final and also another significant culture between Brennan and Dale is that they're both middle-aged men living with their parents. They're 40, and they're still living with their parents. And then both their parents get their parents get married, and then they become stepbrothers. And that's the movies is called Step Brothers. Obviously, that's a significant culture. Yeah, whatever. So in an article about how people conceptualize their future self, written by Michael T. Bixter, he describes that people don't view their past, present, and future selves as the same person. They don't I'm Dewey. I don't perceive first grade Dewey as me. People often conceptualize them as complete strangers, which is bizarre to me. And the idea of the future and past self being a stranger is broken at the Catalina wine mixer because Robert, the father of Dale, encourages Brennan and Dale to perform at the Catalina wine mixer because the band left, and the wine mixer was just a sham. So Robert riles them up by describing a childhood dream that he had himself of being a T-Rex, which Anthony described earlier. And Brennan and Dale's childhood dream and past self is being a drummer, obviously, for Dale, and then Brennan is a singer, a beautiful singer. And if Brennan and Dale viewed their past selves as strangers, they wouldn't have done the Catalina wine mixer. They wouldn't have had a concert. So Robert revived their past self as a stranger, and he brought it into the present. And so Brennan and Dale's current self decided they need to bring back their childhood dreams to make the wine mixer succeed, which is their present. And just the fact that they broke their current self to go into their past and chase those dreams to eventually change their future self because it landed them a job and got them money. Just turned them into man. Going back into their childhood dreams just does not follow what Michael was saying in his article, because most people present their different selves as strangers, and Dale and Brennan because of Robert changed their kind of combined all of their selves into just one self, which is what I think is natural, but Michael his discoveries is that that is just not the case for most people. All right, so the first culture where Dale's labeling his food and Brennan eats it, and uh, Brennan playing on his drum set, um, created like a huge conflict. So these two men already had like a great dislike for each other, and and these conflicts like super early in the film sparked like immediate tension between the brothers. And they even fought, which definitely like made like a brother bonding because like that's what you do with brothers. You just mess around, you fight, you have problems with each other, and you fix them by fighting. Like it just what happens. Um, and to me, Dale seemed to want to act like a big dog towards Brennan because it was like his house. Brennan moved into his like Robert's house, and like Dale like was nothing. He was just like an unemployed like middle aged man, just like Brennan. But Dale was like putting the pressure on him by like not letting him eat certain food and by like not using his drum set. Um, and like he was setting boundaries for Brennan, and Brennan like immediately broke those boundaries that he set. And because Brennan was specifically told not to touch the drum set and did it anyway, it was definitely out of spite, like just to get at him and like teach him a lesson, kind of just like let him know that like he's not the little dog. Um, and like since they like had a fight from it, the conflict was settled, and the two men like or man childs shared like a funny memory, just like them fighting over just like dumb little stuff, and it like just strengthened their relationship as brothers. That's all for that. And then the next culture is towards the end of the movie at the Catalina wine mixer when they perform together. Um, so like I said, Brennan has a beautiful singing voice, which and I didn't say this, but he never shares with anyone. Like he's only sang in front of I think three people. The movie said, and the fact that he sung at this was very like important to Brennan that he was able to just like bring back his past self and like use his dream and just just like be exposed to Dale and Brennan, all the people at the Catalina wine mixer. Like he obviously had grown as a person from not being able to sing in front of anyone to be able to sing in front of a huge crowd. Um, and in the event where like they have the concert, um, like Dale's just like drumming, and then he stops, and then Brennan comes in, and he starts like singing like real lightly, and like it's Will Ferrell, so like obviously it's like just like so funny just watching like Will Ferrell just sing on stage. Um, but like Brennan finishes his solo, and then Dale just goes off on the drums, and that was just like a huge moment for them, just like them combining their childhood dreams and like what they love to do, to make the career that they were doing. Like they started out as unemployed man childs and evolved like into the star of like the Catalina wine mixer. Um, so they gave them like a good footing on like a career and like adulthood, like just like that moment like grew them into adults because they were children who did nothing and now they finally have a career and they're breaking from their like Brennan broke from his like I guess his nervousness around other people. And and not only was there a bond as the brother strengthened, but their self perception of accomplishment was made. So like they were losers their whole life. Obviously, they're just like middle aged man living with their parents. Like just your typical like insult. And even though it is like super fun being a kid, like growing up into a man like gives like someone like a lot of confidence and individuality, and just like being on your own, just like it changes you so much just from like relying on your parents to not relying on your parents. I think everyone can attest to that. So the final culture, god damn, this is long. The final culture prevalent across the entire film is the fact that Dale and Brennan are middle-aged men living with their parents who are stepbrothers. Name of the movie, obviously a pretty critical piece of it. They have like very symmetrical lives. They're like neither of them are happy on their own. Brennan and Dale both did nothing all day, just like you'd think a middle-aged man would. But when they were forced to live together, find jobs, and just like being putting like finally getting pressure being put on by the parents. And just like being able to like hang out as brothers, like that like makes you happy. Just like have someone, you know. So like they had no purpose before meeting. And the relationship between them and their parents forced them to grow out of their child stage and into their adult stage. And this is kind of hypothetical, but even if Brendan and Dale didn't find jobs, like and didn't do the Catalina wine mixer, just like having a brother to like mess around with like just changes your life like in so many ways. Like I can imagine what like a single child does. Damn, been talking for a while, huh? Just like being like I don't know how like single child like live. Like I don't know how that's any fun. But like just like them being able to like be stepbrothers and like have like conflicts, like they bury each other. One time in the movie, they had like they were like wearing like night goggles, just like messing around, like using each other's drums, having a brawl, just stuff like that. Really like it strengthens your relationship with the person, but it also just like it just makes you happier, which inevitably will just change your life. Just like having fun at your house, you're gonna change your life off that. Um and hold on. So like Dale and Brennan, like them being stepbrothers and then turning into men themselves, that like they had very similar lives. They were like deadbeat, and then they were brothers, and then they were like very successful by using their past. Like that like grew their relationships themselves, and then also like created a bond together, and just made them men. They got them out of the house. It just like it was the Catalina wine mixer, and then just them being stepbrothers just like completely changed their lives and just turned them into men. I think that's it. Peace out, class. That was 12 minutes, way longer than I thought it was gonna be. But what can I say? Just a scholar.